Come on.
Oh, it doesn't want to stay.
No. Okay.
Good morning.
Uh,
No. What is that?
I don't know. David, I'm gonna close it out and get come back in
Yeah. Okay.
and see whether that helps. Because the video thing is just, staying for a few seconds.
Oh,
Okay, I'll be back in a
okay.
second.
Okay.
Yeah, Living in Freedom finally gave away the last two because they didn't, only having two in the winter makes no sense. And they weren't reducing it. They'll start next year. Hello, David.
Good morning, ladies.
Ooh, it is warm in here.
Oh,
I brought clothing options in case we didn't get.
well, I can.
Yeah, a lighter and a less light. I'm not complaining. Let me just make that clear. I'm not complaining. I will.
Actually, I can turn it down now. When I came down this
Is it
morning
chilly?
first, it was
Chilly in the morning.
Yeah.
It's that weather, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think. Yeah. That's true. Oh, it's probably been a while. Well, no, from the work. Oh. From that, from the bathroom one.
Yeah, we're still getting out from under that. Ta-da!
I like having a real Christmas tree, you're gonna find pieces of that tree for years to come. We haven't had, well, the last couple of years, we've just kind of gotten some little scrubby thing out of the woods at Volunteer. We just don't have the energy anymore for a big tree. I don't even need to. We do Christmas at Patrick Frida's and I like the decorations, but not the whole tree.
Bill?
No. It's too much.
Hello. Hi, David.
Oh, you are there. Okay.
Yeah,
When they're in college.
Bill Nagel's
Oh,
having trouble
well, they're
getting
not
in for
using
some
it.
reason.
Yeah.
oh yeah. I tried one computer and I switched to this one. Having, I think it was the computer, not.
You are right enough to give me a little bit of.
You have in-person people today.
I do.
That's
I do.
cool.
I'm very excited.
The last time we were in person, you were here, Bill. Is that true?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a while, huh?
Well, we. Well, in September, he was here. Did we do? Oh, that's right, that's right.
Yep. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
Wow. Let's see, where can we sit so that we be sort of visible? Well,
David will get up and do that.
yeah,
We can move. We're
I'll put-
flexible enough.
I'll put the other computer up here. I mean, camera up in a moment. Hi, Bill. Muted. Bill?
Okay, here we go.
There you go.
You crashed my computer.
Crashed your computer.
Yeah, I all kinds of funny things were going on.
It was just not opening.
Well, I have Carol and Joanne here
Yeah, you
today.
just keep saying a little.
Is Piffling still alive and kicking?
Okay,
Our
So
first computer was through a thing called.
I'm gonna go to the
People
other
And you had to sign up for 3 years.
Camera.
To get the treasury computer with it. So we got it done. And then Earthlink bought them. Right, yeah, so it just had so long, I didn't want to change that email. I mean, actually, 4 years. For different groups.
hello. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome. Oh.
No, James outside emptying the
What's-
trash when we
No.
came, so we got to say hello.
Oh, good. So the two bills are here.
hi,
Hey.
Um,
We're kind of one-dimensional, but or
Yeah.
two-dimensional, I guess.
um, and if you if cats come running down,
Oh,
don't be surprised.
We're fine now. Oh, I never been fine with cats. No cat allergies here.
Okay.
Sounds like hearing it in person.
Yeah,
It's just
That's
not the
true.
same, even when we hear it well on the phone.
I am recording.
Good. Yeah.
So questions, reports about the lengthening and spherical movement?
actually, David, I had a follow-up question to what we talked about yesterday.
Okay.
In terms of my shoulder and, dissolving. Um, and what do I do when I can't feel anything to dissolve? I mean, I know that the shoulder and the neck are compromised, but for instance, right now they don't hurt. They're not bound up in any particular way. So I don't know how to go about dissolving what's underneath it all and not giving me any pain or discomfort.
So my immediate response is meditate.
Okay,
Because there are blockages there, energetic blockages. You're not looking just for physical blockages, you're trying to release
right.
energetic blockages. So you have to be able to feel those, and meditation is really one of the best ways to approach that, because once we really can begin to sink into our meditation, we can feel more, we can feel better.
Okay.
There isn't, if you don't have pain, then obviously that's not giving you a direction for an outer dissolving.
Right.
So there is something there that you can be aware of, but it may be very subtle. I said to you yesterday, something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is. Something doesn't feel right in that area. It's not a specific, you don't need to know the specific, you simply need to be aware that something is wrong, that you need to release something there.
Yeah. I suppose it could also be true that I'm so used to it being wrong that I don't even sense it as being wrong.
Yes,
Well, I think that's
Yeah.
entirely, and again, I would say meditation might help you to work through that.
Yeah, okay.
I also find that just like really making myself relax. It's
Yep.
sometimes hard to do because kind of like pain, we just hold things without thinking about it.
Yep.
And so then the more I relax, then the more, okay, maybe that's probably why I've been trying to hold against it, which doesn't really work, obviously, but that's kind of where I've been able to find some of the both physical and emotional tensions.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
just another form of not quite getting into, I wouldn't necessarily call it meditating, but it is a meditative relaxing. Yeah.
Well, and that's good.
Yeah.
Good step.
Yeah, I think that is good. That I think dissolving and relaxing are different things, but I find it a lot easier to think about relaxing, especially if I'm not, like you said, Bill, having a something really obvious
Yeah.
and annoying. But with when we were long ago doing this relaxing, it's always possible to relax more.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
In the Chinese medical Qigong healing that Lisa
Yeah,
O'Shea teaches, she would kind of focus on an area of problem and focus your chi there, and sometimes it was just sort of, the hand helps, but
Mhm.
massaging it doesn't necessarily have to be in pain to do that,
no,
Mhm.
Right.
but letting the chi kind of
Yep.
work through it.
work
through it.
through it. So
Yeah.
that, if your neck is giving you a hard time, usually,
Right.
maybe just
And
Focus on that.
well, and part of Lisa's work too is to think about moving that energy that's stuck out in a more, I started to say physical way, that's not, and it's also energetic, but you're
Yeah.
using the energy from the other hand and arm to actually contact and
Mhm.
move
Yeah.
some of what may be blocked there. So it's another way to approach it.
Okay.
And actually, that Lisa's work is very effective too. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I thank you all.
That's why we have class.
Yeah. Yeah. Collective wisdom.
So how do you all feel about your movements? Are they circular? Are they spherical? Do you not understand what that means?
Yeah, I think that class in person got me into spherical more than just circular. I think I've been doing sort of two-dimensional circular, and I think getting to combining twisting and circular, and it starts feeling more like everything is spherical. Uh, not all the time, but I think that's been really helpful, and I think that in-person class was a little turning point for me, at least.
Anyone else want to add anything?
transitions. I
Uh-huh.
was noticing 5 to 6
Mhm.
was, well, actually,
jerky.
and 4 to those 4 to 5 and 5 to 6, those transitions are, kind of in and out, or
Should
I
we
was
be
just
rounding
noticing-
more to?
Yeah, you have to really
Yeah.
make an effort. you have to focus on really rounding those corners. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what Master Joe was talking about, too. I
Yeah.
mean, was that in order to make the transition smooth and not lose the curve, you have to find the curve and you have to implement it yourself. Because our tendency is to get to the end and start back. And so what comes to mind, I was thinking of the transition between the first and second movements in the 8 gates, because we're doing if we're pulsing in the 8 gates in the first one, we're here, and our tendency is to finish and go down. But it in order to have the transition, you might notice if you watch me that when I get to this point, it goes up and then down. It brings a curve into it so that you can keep it going. So that's one of the things you have to do, is find how you can make every transition round. How can you round that corner? And there isn't always a single way to do it. It's can be individual, what works for you. You guys are advanced enough with this practice at this point that there isn't necessarily a way to do these. You have to feel, if you are feeling energetically what's happening, then that will direct you into the transitions.
I think the work we've done in the form, or are still doing in the form, we'll say, this is why we're here, is the lesson for that, right?
Yeah.
You know, just stop and go to the next thing.
Yeah.
Right? Even though I think I did originally,
Sure, we all do.
but we all do, because we learn
Step by step.
step by step, yep.
Yep.
So I think that's where I try to draw from, what I try to draw.
I think with the transition and rounding it and making it smooth and everything, and having the coordinate the breath, like the breath, and you may be doing it very slowly, but when you go from exhaling to inhaling or inhaling to exhaling, there's a moment when that change happens. When you're rounding the edges, it's a very soft change from the way I'm thinking about it. A lot of the time is going to yang and then beginning to go to yin. From where you've gotten to, without that being an edge, with it being a soft transition. At the same time that the breath is doing it.
Yep. And I think I've mentioned this before, but what you're looking for is how the movement, the energy, and the breath, when they make that transition, there is a crossover. It isn't here and
Right.
here. It's here and here. And so that even with the breath, and yes, I understand that initially, how else can you think about it? Inhale, exhale. You have to go from one to the other. But if you really focus on that transition, you find how you can make that inhale become the exhale. And that's part of the transition. Indeed. So you're quite right. That's a difficult element to include in that.
But, and I remember when you would first talk about that, having the inhale, really you're beginning the next before you quite finished. I thought, oh, that's impossible. And now, of course, it wasn't impossible, but, but now you think of it the other way and you'd be like hyperventilating if you breathe in and kind of jerk back and forth,
Yeah.
it's just like, that's what's not.
Yeah,
Kind of really, what we're learning is what we should be doing anyway, so.
true.
And probably partially what we are doing, but just being more aware of it.
Yep, absolutely. So,
That is one particular transition from 4 to 5 with the breath. Because the breath is different in 5. That's a tricky part for me.
So it seems like those transitions are something a number of people are raising.
yeah, well, and the transition from 4 to 5 involves a longer inhale
Mhm.
because four is ending with an inhale and 5 is beginning with an inhale.
Right,
And so one of the things you have to think about there is slowing the inhale down so that it can extend through both parts.
So it's an extended inhale. We don't sort of cheat and get a little exhale. We don't get a wind up to.
Probably not.
At some point, 4 was ending out here with a little exhale and then 5, or at least that's how I interpreted it.
you didn't think you were cheating.
Actually, no, I don't believe so. If I gave you that impression, I was wrong.
Well, yeah. Well, and sometimes it is, like you say, we learn step by step, so
Yeah.
you get 4 in before you're really doing 5, and then undo something.
I think the thing to think about 4 is that you're coming to the dantian and then going back up, not to the qua points. So and if when you're doing that final movement of 4, if you don't go down too much, then it makes it easier because you're beginning that condensation at this point. So yes, there is a little rounding there so that it's not boom, boom, but it's not a big movement with an exhale either. It's an extended inhale and then into the exhale. Other thoughts or questions before I confuse you more?
On 6.
Mhm.
Which is the inhale, and which is the exhale? But there's something
Yeah.
just lately that just doesn't, inhale going out, exhale going down. No.
No. So in 5, you inhale and exhale. And this becomes
Inhale.
inhale,
That's what I said.
and exhale.
Okay. That's what I've been doing and it's felt okay, but this practice seems to me that it has changed over the 5
Oh, it
years.
has.
She's not denying that.
You learn it this way and then a few months later, that's not what's going on. So I'm just, what is it today?
Good. Well, this had to be introduced at stages and
Yeah.
steps. And that's part of the difficulty with it. The complexity of it requires that you can't go to where you are now 4 years ago.
Right.
Unless you're particularly incredible, I suppose there are people who may be able to do that, but most of us cannot. So, but I understand that that is part, but that's part of the process.
Hmm.
So we looked at lengthening outward. And one of the first things I want to say here is that we were looking primarily at physically lengthening. The important part of lengthening is that the energy is lengthening outward as that release occurs. And you have to have that release of the physical so that the energetic can flow. And the lengthening in is the energy lengthening back in and down to the Dantian. It is lengthening back in. It's not collapsing back in.
Mhm.
And this is part of circularity again. This goes along with bend and stretch and twisting, all of the parts that we have looked at. Lengthening really allows you to be able to do the spherical. And actually the lengthening that we want to focus on is the energetic lengthening in the fascia, going out the yang side and coming in the fascia of the yin side. So once you have released out, actually the lengthening in can occur without much physical movement. You may have a slight bend or you may not. It really doesn't matter a great deal because what you're feeling is the energy lengthening in. And I have probably in the past and looking at some of these things, and maybe this too, talked about the kind of the image of a rubber band. So once you stretch it out, if you let it collapse, there's nothing there. But if you allow it just to release a bit, it's lengthening, if you will, in the other direction. And that's without a loss of I want to say tension.
Elasticity was the word that came to mind.
Yeah, without a loss of that energy movement, but recognizing that it is actually a lengthening in both directions.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around that word. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I understand that some of the alternative words are collapsing or shrinking, or they're totally not what we are saying.
Yep.
But it's still like when I think of lengthening something, I always think of making it larger, not making it smaller, which we are. If when we in our lengthening, we are actually physically lengthening as well as the energy moving out.
Yeah, and once you have really developed the ability to have that physical release, then you don't have to do it every time you make a movement. You simply retain it constantly. So that your focus becomes not, oh, I have to do a physical lengthening in order to get the energy out. No, it's constantly thinking, I'm lengthening the energy out and I'm lengthening the energy in. And obviously we have to move beyond thinking about it in order to do that. But you have to think about it at first.
Right, I understand, yeah. Well, it's one of those things where in 6 months we'll go, oh yeah, now I get it. Just like before, we were saying, oh yeah, at the beginning, we didn't get it, now we get it. Yeah, but it's still, yeah, so some of it's the language, right? And the language in English.
Yeah, we could do it in Chinese, but.
Well, I'm too old to start learning Chinese.
No, I tried and it was,
It's not, yeah.
it's tough. I know a few words, but that's it. So bills, do you have, either of you have a question about that?
No, not particularly.
Your comment about the fascia was good. I think, I mean, the complement of that is don't have the muscles involved so much. You're
Yeah.
moving the energy to, but also don't just, that comment about just letting go of the rubber band. You still want to keep energy and tension going in both directions. You don't want to just have one direction, just not doing anything and think that's lengthening in, but
Right. I will say that was when I first was introduced to lengthening, that was my image. Oh, out it goes and then it comes in. Well, no, that's not what's really ideally happening here.
Because that's a stretching. When you
Yeah.
said that, like, yeah, we know, yeah, we're not stretching.
We have to go we have to let go of stretching.
Yeah, yeah.
And release, allow it to extend out. Because as I was talking previously, every place in your body that you can relax and allow to release will increase your ability to lengthen both in the arms and legs and the spine, the entire body. So we start with the arms, as we do with a lot of things, because it's much easier for us to be aware of what's happening in our arms. But this is happening through the whole body. And what is really interesting, once you begin to focus on that, if you're thinking of lengthening out, if you can get the arm to release and then get the back to let go and the neck to let go, and you just keep going, and you can go through the whole body, and you get just a little bit more each time, and that opens the flow of the energy. You can feel the energy flow increase as you do that. Ideally.
Or you'll find the blockage.
Or you'll
It's circular.
and of course it's very important not to focus on the hands. But to try to feel the release, the flow of the energy all the way through. I mean, that's one of the things we worked on is opening up everything from the fingertips to the spine, at least. And so you're trying to feel that flow all the way through there, both out and in. So I think I recommended last week that the dynamic sphere is a great way to work on sphericalness and circular movement. It's also a great place to work on all the other pieces that we've introduced, because they're all present. So when and one of the things is when you start this, you have to have a point of lengthening out and then lengthening in order to lengthen out. And then to lengthen in. And the nice thing about this movement is that there isn't a lot of bending and extending, but there is constant twisting and bending and extending. But it gives you an opportunity to do that, and you can slow it down
Yeah.
as slowly as you want to go. I mean, it doesn't have to be fast. You discover that, oh, that just gives me the time to be able to really feel the energy coming in the inside of my arm and extending out the yang side. And interestingly enough, is that the opposite arm should be doing the opposite. So you feel that in the other arm. You notice that this arm was not hanging limply at my side. It was out here, and very subtly, it's lengthening out and lengthening in also.
So when you're lengthening out, it's lengthening in.
Yep. Because particularly for those of you who are working on a form, that's happening all the time on the form.
Right. Hadn't thought about it that way though.
Yeah, it's much more complex in the form. So you probably are aware that I'm doing a class in which we're working on the 8 gates, Master Joe's 8 gates training, which is really this practice. And one of the things we are focusing on right now is the many variations of the dynamic sphere of the basic Tensa Jin. There are at least, I've never counted them, but there are at least 50 variations of how to practice that. They are amazing. And
Just because that's developed over the centuries of different.
well, partially, but also it was Master Joe's focus on that, and that he wrote it down, taught it. I'm sure it did come down through the centuries, but it was passed very often, I think, from teacher to student, and not necessarily written down. Master Joe really began to write it down. So, but you don't need to go to all the complex possibilities of that. You can simply use the basic dynamic sphere as a really wonderful way to practice this. So let's try it. It does mean standing up.
It means standing up. I'm also just thinking, where do we stand? So
Wherever
not
you like.
in their way.
It's not a huge deal. Yeah, you
No,
don't.
I just don't want to be, yeah.
So you have to think about the fact that again, you want to start from the beginning, which means feet comfortably together and standing for a moment. And if you have the time, really standing until you feel that you've arrived back as close to Wu Ji as you can. And that something within you moves you to begin. Not your mind saying, oh, I've got to hurry up and get started here. But that's an individual process. And I'm not suggesting we should do that at the moment because we won't have any class time if we do. So we're going to begin by lengthening out as you step, and then lengthening in as you come to center, and then continuing right on into lengthening out, lengthening in. Lengthen out, lengthening in. Feel the energy going out the yang side of the arm, and then coming in the yin side, lengthening in and lengthening out. Back in. But remember that your weight is shifting as you do this. That can help flow of the energy. Really aware of the arm constantly twisting. Never get stuck. The beauty of this movement is that you are really beginning to be aware of the sphere. We're moving this energy through that ball in front of you. Through the ball in which you are the center. Pause. So you feel like you're getting some sense of that?
I was a little concerned because that's how I go
Mhm.
at the beginning, that I couldn't pay attention to both arms. And actually, I found they got in sync pretty, not always in and out, but enough in sync for
Yeah.
me to really feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Initially, well, those of you who've done this for years, I would think you'd be able to indeed find that sync relatively
Yeah.
easily. If
Yeah, it's not like we're having to remember a whole lot about what we're doing.
No, if you haven't done a lot of this, then you really need to focus on the arm that's doing the primary movement at first. And you could practice, 2 ways or 1,000 ways. You can focus on the arm that's moving, or you can simply focus on the other arm. What's happening to that one? Because you know where this one is going.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about that. This is a practice that at this point we've done so much, hopefully, that you really don't have to think about where is that primary arm going? What is it doing? You may need to work on the lengthening there a bit, but so. Questions?
The bills are silent.
They are. Bill, did you find that your shoulder was an issue here?
No, not this morning.
Ask tomorrow.
I actually do have a question about the secondary arm, the off arm. The lengthening, I understand, is there twisting and bending also going on?
Very subtly, yes.
Okay. But not so much that you would be able to see it easily.
No,
Okay.
no. There is less in that arm than there is in the arms in 7,
Okay.
actually. I mean, less visibility of it.
Yes, I understand.
It's subtler in that.
Yep. Okay.
Anything for you, Mr. Bynum?
No, I think that's great. I do that, even as part of a warm up. But adding in your comments on, as if it's the off arm, the arm that's not describing the circle in full is that adds a little extra. So that's nice. Thank you.
Good. So what I'd like you to do is do a 10 rep flow of God, since that's what we're here to focus on ideally. And see if you can be aware of the lengthening as you're doing that.
Okay.
And the roundness and sphericalness of the movements. So did you find some lengthening in that?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, it came and went, but I think that's because I was concentrating on too many different things.
You have to try to just
I
concentrate
know,
on one.
I said it that way to say, yes, I recognize
Yeah.
that.
You
but-
just want to give me the opportunity to say it.
That's right. Reminder.
Anyone else? So,
Yeah. So spirituality,
Reality.
yep,
popped in at in 7, the transition from one side to the other. Okay. I'll get a circle in there. Because it's doing this way and then you're going that way, so. What's going on at the top at the moment of transition? Pops the Surrey, yeah. Oh, is this Surrey? I forget which one.
I think maybe because we've done so much of this on Zoom, initially it felt very flat,
Mm,
right? Just like circular, right? Like this is what we're doing and not much depth in many of the ways, right? So I think that the more I practice, the more I pay attention to that, the more that spirituality is felt.
I mean, all of the, but unfortunately, or fortunately, we have to keep all the parts going. And I think that's the one thing I would say about watching
Mm,
is that there were times when the sinking and rising got stuck
uh-huh,
at bottom or top.
uh-huh.
There were places where the twisting got frozen.
Yep.
I think the one that I noticed the most there was 4. A quick twist
Oh,
of the arms and then pulling them down, yes, and maybe you could get a little more twisting there, but this can be a gradual twist all the way down and a gradual twist all the way up. And staying aware of dropping the elbows,
Mhm.
which means relax the shoulders. Where that one of the places where that really shows up in a lot of the movements, but the one I wanted to mention is the closing. Because what I was seeing was people getting stuck here, and I've just cut off everything at the shoulder. Drop the shoulder, relax the shoulder. It's which then allows you to come down and focus the 2 Laogong points directly into the Dantian, and that can be a very powerful connection. So, but on the other hand, you're all doing very well. I really am very pleased at how you're doing. Other questions or thoughts at the moment? Okay, well, practice this week as much as you can and try to be aware of lengthening and spirituality. But we have a new word.
Spirituality.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Great.
See you all next week.
See you
Yes.
next week.
See you next week.
Yeah. Thanksgiving next week?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, no class next week.
Oh, no class on
Ah.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I have never had class.
Okay. I couldn't.
Too many
Okay.
people were busy.
Yeah, getting ready for everything.
Getting
Okay.
ready.
It's a busy
Yeah,
time.
okay. So the week after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
You guys need a break of.
I need to go straighten your dolls.
You have to
Go
go
what?
straighten the dolls?
Oh, okay. Okay. That's because Moki's been up there walking around.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
Uh,
Mm.
yeah,
He didn't come down to visit.
I think Jane closed the door.
Oh, okay, yeah. Bother us, right, when you're just the one down here, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have any cats in my house, so it would have been nice to have.
Oh, you had cats before, didn't
Oh,
you? You
yeah,
had
we had
cats
lots
in
of cats.
Norwich, yeah.
well, these two are very friendly. Oh. We'll have to, you can come upstairs to have a visit on your
Yes.
way out. If you like.
Definitely go up and visit the new bathroom.
Yes,
Right, we have to look at- we have to
absolutely.
use your new bathroom.
We're very happy with the new bathroom.
Great, well, that's good, when you have all that work done and it's such a pain and I'm sure it costs money, and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh, if you don't like it, it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, it took 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So, I wanted to just start focusing on the second paragraph, not, since we don't have huge amount of time.
Yeah.
If we had a couple of hours, we could do the whole thing.
That'd be a
but-
little much of a night.
Would, I'm sure.
We'll be here till at least 10:30, but which is a little probably later than class is when we're.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna change my shoes actually, because the one thing I found is I really can do guards in this, but I really don't like wearing these shoes for doing
Sure.
the form. They stuck
yep.
in the way. I really like them because they do soften the pressure. My hip,
Uh-huh.
but
Well, that's good.
Seamus was the one who got me to wear Crocs. The grandkids love them.
Oh, do they?
Very popular with kids. My feet get cold.
Yeah, this floor is not the warmest.
No. Well, we never wear shoes before. I always, these were always,
Yeah,
but my.
Until my feet started hurting when I don't wear shoes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's why I wear these almost all the time, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's different then.
yeah,
We get older, we have to accommodate.
absolutely.
Or we won't do anything, it's hard I keep hearing from people like, oh, I can't move. And it's like, well, that's part of your problem. Like what you were saying with John, yeah. You don't move,
Yeah,
then we don't move more.
that's right. I'm following my sciatica and then my pacemaker.
Yeah, you've had some,
It's taken me a while, but I've gotten to where I'm really pushing myself to keep moving in a number of different ways, and it's working.
yeah,
So I'm getting better. So, I think just start at the beginning of 2 and we'll work on a few postures at a time and clarify anything that.
those ones we still forget or we're doing wrong or.
Well, there's no wrong.
No, there's writer. More right, more correct, there's corrector. No, well, there are some wrongs, let's be real,
Yeah.
David. That's okay, I'm a big girl. I can
Okay.
I can be told that I need to correct something.
And one of the things that has certainly has come up for me, and occurred to me, I probably should say to my my older students, is that
The second time today, we've been called older.
yeah,
Your wife called us
Well-
older. No, she said we were old friends, and then she said, no, I mean old. Well, we were old.
there are a number of places where at least we used to be able to just step way around.
Mm,
And maybe your body doesn't allow you to do that. And so there's nothing wrong with stepping around if you need to do that. So
Certainly the spins, and that is mostly dependent on which shoes they have.
Well, that's true,
Yeah.
that's true, I can't, yeah, there's some things, yeah, right, you're
Yeah.
right.
These were spinning.
But I've never been great at some of those spins, and then when my leg did go, my right, then I did have to,
Yeah.
but you're very good at, yeah, so.
so right away when we begin, we have to go from facing left
Over
the
the
right
corner.
rear corner. And so we can step partway around, but maybe we can't step as far as we used to. So you can spin on that toe and make another step and then continue into the posture.
Except this hand's a fist,
What?
this hand is a fist.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to work on that, David, don't undo that.
Sorry.
Gotta remember that.
I get.
No, I understand.
It's hard to start in the middle and so.
It's very hard to,
Yeah.
it's very hard, I understand, yeah, no. And because you're trying to point something totally different out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Goodness knows I completely understand about the starting in the middle bit. So, but let's start there and just,
Begin at the beginning, and do you wanna have us try to go through it all, or you wanna stop us and go, let's work at?
yeah, I think because
Well,
we
yeah,
have
sure.
limited time,
Hmm?
I think we should just try to work on a few postures.
Yeah,
at a
I think that
time.
makes more sense, and then, I mean, I think we're committed to try to come back pretty regularly, right? So,
That would be
can't
great.
maybe do it all the time, but I think we can try to do, and we'll see.
Yeah,
And
and then
our
we can,
schedules, I mean, I could shut up, yeah.
we can keep going.
Right. Yes, yeah. Yeah, no, that would be good, that would be good. Yeah, where should we? Where's the front?
David's the front.
I'm
Is
the
the
front.
front.
So.
So we start facing to the
We
left.
start facing here, that's the front.
What?
You start
you're gonna be
facing-
here and I'll be there.
David, yeah, I can be here, yeah, sure.
That's fine.
There's the front, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
Excellent.
You did very far, didn't we? All right.
That's all right, that's
No, this is good, this is good.
So, both of you did quite well getting around to here. When you go into this position, you don't want to go back and forward or forward and back, which I saw
Are we
happen.
both doing that?
And
So you're saying when
So,
we did this, we
when
were,
you do
yeah,
follow and,
uh-huh.
when you do follow and focus.
Yeah, yeah.
So, when you've arrived at this point, follow is here and then focus.
Mm,
And notice that Lu, the follow is a twisting out and in, and there's a continued in and then an out. And that out is not push with the hands. This is out is coming from the back,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay? Yeah. So do that much. Yeah, start again.
I'm doing wrong. I'm missing.
What,
I was the rock helped me.
Yeah. well, you got rid of most of the rock.
Good.
Getting the twisting in and out
Yeah.
in there is a little difficult, getting the timing of that.
Getting the timing of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're this and this. Yeah, that's what I'm missing. Yeah.
Good. And then that was good, Carol. That actually, it looked like you were doing pretty well with that. And then we have play pipa
Mhm,
to the side.
mhm.
So we have a step and we're twisting in all the way to here. And this is an opening. Everything, you're lengthening. You're extending, you're twisting outward into that play pipa. Yeah.
Right, And then
Yeah,
we're
sometimes I do
stepping.
that as synchronous.
Mhm.
Oh, that was, yeah.
I've been conscious, I sometimes have done that more as a sinking kind of thing.
Right, yeah, no, me
Focusing on
too.
it being an out, but it being more up.
It's yeah, we're not sinking and rising for the
Yeah.
most part in this
Yeah, I know.
this one. So when where are you, David?
Right, so from the
Right.
corner, yeah.
We finished here. You coming back. This is a very subtle twisting in and then an opening. And again, this is all coming from the back. You're twisting in and twisting out.
Mhm.
And there's not a big upward movement. There is there may be a slight rise there as the qua opens, but it's really,
I think when I play pipa, I tend to move this hand probably too far back to the claw.
yeah.
Kind of feel, and then kind of move it more.
No,
But I don't want to do it the wrong way now. I want to
Don't
put that
do
in
it.
my brain.
so one of the things,
Again.
in this form, we're rigidly not crossing the center line of
Yes,
the body.
yeah.
Coming to it, yes, but not crossing it. And
Uh-huh.
that's one of the things when you begin to pull a hand back, it starts to pull the other one across.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, uh-huh.
And all they're
Did we do
doing,
that before? Did we do that in the Yang style?
what?
Move it across? I don't know. Never mind. I
There's a
don't
little
wanna-
more crossing in the Yang style,
Yeah.
yes. So, but here, actually, the arms don't change their relationship to the center line of the body.
Uh-huh.
They just twist in and come down a little bit and then open.
Uh-huh, okay.
Yeah.
That's taped, good. It's on tape.
on tape. It is.
Thankfully.
Good.
It's on tape.
Well, he is. We are.
He is, that's okay, that's all we need, it was just what he's doing.
So, so start that again and then go on through the, grassy sparrow's tail to the side.
Start back at the begin at the beginning of 2. Is that what you said? Yeah.
So to work on, because I don't expect you to, since we haven't been together for quite a while.
Twice in the last year.
Right, so when you finish play peepaw, you're weighted on the back foot.
Yeah.
That forward foot is empty. And you're going to, at that point, what are you gonna do, David?
Move the foot up for
Yeah,
grasping sparrows, yeah.
right. So you have to go here, and that does
Mhm.
allow you to twist in.
Mm.
So you can twist out, in and out, out and in and out. Very subtle, subtle, but it's all there.
Yeah, I usually think about it here, think about it at the very beginning, but.
Right,
Here,
right.
it's.
So,
Right, I just think more like boom, boom, which I know is wrong, obviously.
so the tongue has that little twist out here. And notice that I haven't completed the turn of the body at this point, so that I can continue turning into G. And it's
Mhm.
small and subtle. I know I'm not expecting you to do this right at the moment, but I want you to be aware of it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And then the out happens as you're shifting forward, and then you're
Mhm.
in a little more for on, and
Mhm.
then out. Yeah.
Where I've been doing more
Yeah.
forward. I gotta really undo some of this.
Yeah. Well, that's
That's okay.
part of why I wanted us to get
Yes, I
together.
understand. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't even, half the time I'm off the screen when I'm doing.
Yeah.
Especially this part.
Yeah, especially this part, because you're over here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is good.
So just go to on and do single whip. So circularity. Nice to have some circularity in this. So you've gone out. Now this is going to come in, and notice that I'm going around the ball, and now the ball is enlarging out here, and then the ball is getting smaller, and then into single whip. So that whole movement is a kind of figure eight.
Right.
In going into it,
Spherical.
and allows this
Mhm.
to do those movements. So did you catch what I was doing? I mean, did I make sense of that?
Yes.
So it
Well, maybe, then it's like, what was I doing wrong as well as what are you doing
Well,
that I
the-
should be doing, I think it's
there was a tendency to get into this kind of a position, and that's not really, oh,
for my hands to.
yeah. So
I
here
see.
that you're twisting in, so they're coming in
Uh-huh,
and then they're going out and they're only going to here. They're not going to here. They're only going to here. And then they're coming in preparation for a single whip, which is a separating. If you think of it martially, you're coming into the middle and separating their arms.
Yeah.
Question in there? Okay, so why don't you try it again from the beginning through single whip? Beginning of this second paragraph.
not paragraph one.
No.
No,
No, I won't do that
How many
to
more
you.
hours do we have? Things all at once. It's
A lot in there.
a lot to remember to undo.
redo. So questions? Places that you're not clear about?
I mean, I think because we have the recording, the few things that I'm
Well,
like
that's a
needing
help.
to remember, I mean, I really, yeah.
Yeah.
The best practices when I go back over that and then do it with it. Yeah.
So this form is particularly subtle,
Yes,
and it also doesn't have as much arm movement or leg movement as the Young style. So one of the things is to think more about keeping the arms to the center rather than letting them go down and
I do a lot of, yeah, I think so, because when we first learned, they were bigger and I feel
Yeah.
like I need to,
Yeah.
this is part of the being on Zoom, not being in person kind of, I think.
Yeah,
result. Is
absolutely.
That I think I was closer and then I became more,
yeah.
more bigger. Yeah,
So I think maybe that's enough for the moment.
that's a lot for us to work on,
Yeah,
but good, and if we have 2 weeks, then we can really,
yeah.
you wanna try to come back in 2 weeks, can you do that?
I'll have to check my calendar.
Yeah.
By December, I'm really trying to hunker down for the next, my body, my soul is just saying. It's winter this week, but this
Yeah.
week of finishing up a number of, even though there's obviously big things are coming, but this
Yeah.
week. When I think about it. people reminding me, calling me, do
Yeah.
you do training for immigrant? And yada, yada, it's like, no, I don't have to. But anyway, but there's also a time to
Yeah, you,
rest and revive.
you have to do that.
I have to do that, and that's right. But this is one way of doing it,
Yeah,
of having this. Having these practices
good.
and getting into the habit. I'm pretty good about it. I mean, if I don't do it in the morning, I'm very clear. A couple of times this week, I couldn't do it in the morning, and I just, life takes over.
Yeah, well,
I'm too busy. I thought I had this extra 2.5 hours, and 3 different people called yesterday filling it in, so. Yeah, that's, and that's, okay,
yeah.
that's my life. That's. At 76, I can only change so much.
Yeah. That's right.
You know. They will not be available, but. Yeah. That's fine, but.
Yeah, I've been having a hard time getting a regular time to do it,
Yeah.
and well, John's no longer going to 3 different therapies a week, so.
Makes
only
it
going to
easier.
one.
Was he doing the morning things? Yeah, it's